Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kieran Pixels, and this is the first devlog for Magicide. So quick note, I want to say, first of all, there is a, prequel to this. There's like an episode 0 where it shows you what the game is. So if you haven't seen that, go ahead and watch that. There's a card right there, yada 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 stuff, and there'll probably be an end screen. But, I want to make one note, just really important. So, honestly, guys, it's probably going to be a pretty short devlog. The rest, I hope, are going to be longer. But the reason why is I've been having a mental health crisis all week. I don't want to get into the specifics. I am still kind of in the recovery of that. For all I know, it could just spike up and get worse. So, yeah. But basically, I'm hoping things are going to get better from this point forward. Haven't been able to develop much of the game and work on the game much. I hope you all understand. I mean, this is the first episode, so it's not like I've set up some big impressions. Regardless, what I'm saying is that episode 2 will be way more content, devloggy stuff, action-packed, you know the drill. Anyways, let me show you what I've been working on this week. So since this is the first devlog, I think it's important to, show, like, my workload, like, how do I split up the different parts of, game development, and, I think it's just something I should show, because I know a lot of you guys probably watching this and making your own games, maybe want some tips and tricks on, like, what softwares to use and all that, so I'm just going to quickly go through them. Not really something you're supposed to do in a devlog, but I thought, hey, this is our first devlog, so, let's explore things. Now here's the development software, for example, and I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of laugh out of this, because it doesn't necessarily have the best reputation. In fact, I actually really used to hate this software myself, saw it as, a really cheap thing, but, what is this? RPG Maker, MV. It has a negative reputation, mostly because it's a visual-based, development software, and because it doesn't actually require coding knowledge, it is kind of becoming infamous for making these terrible games. Hell, when I was 12 years old, I actually made a terrible game on one of these myself. So, like, a really infamous piece of software, but if used with the right skills and talents, can be really powerful. For example, all of these sprites here, courtesy of myself, I made all of this. Our next piece of software we have here is paint.net. You can see I have a bunch of the game sprites up here, all the stuff I've been working on recently. This isn't necessarily meant for this is just my overall image editing software. I make everything on here, my thumbnails, but I also do a lot of the sprite work, and it's a pretty powerful piece of software. Like, I would rather use this to Photoshop. Like, it can become crazily powerful with the right plugins and all that. Then we have Notepad. I think Notepad is going to be useful, whatever thing you're doing. Or maybe not Notepad specifically, but just something to take notes. So these are the attributions I have to put in the video description, because these are the music I've used. And if I don't attribute these, Frank Schröter, he's gonna come to my house and he's gonna shoot me. Then we have Vegas. Vegas is what I'm actually editing this video on. A Vegas 18. They make new versions pretty often, but basically, this is a pretty good piece of software. Been using it since 2015 now, so, got some experience down there. Pretty good. This actual section of the video is going in between here, because I actually recorded stuff later on in the video. I know, you're seeing into the future right here, like, So recently I bought this new software, Sprite. I haven't actually used it for any of the development yet, but I definitely know I will be using it, because this is a crazy piece of software. Like, if you've done any pixel art or anything like that, you've definitely heard of this. And yeah, that's just basically every piece of software I have. Another recommendation I would have for not just game developers, but for anyone, is make sure to keep your desktops clean. I mean, I know it's tempting to, drag files everywhere here and there, have everything just about everything you need, but honestly, A, your background, it's really essential to your PC. You want to make sure that's, you know, not covered up. I have this lovely art of the character from Ruby. But yeah, make sure to have a clean workstation. That's my advice, at least. So with that all out of the way, let's begin with the actual devlog. So I probably won't do this for future episodes, but all of this is going to be like recorded in post. I might do that in future episodes actually, but basically I'm going to be telling you what I did in post because, like I said, mental health crisis, probably not the best at commentary. Like, literally, most of this audio is just keyboard sounds. So actually, fun fact, in between the kind of post, the pilot devlog, and this devlog, I actually have updated a lot of the basic sprites, as you can see here. You know, new water sprites, new grass sprites, new mountain sprites. Not really any specific reason. I just thought of, you know, updating a couple things. But, of course, that doesn't mean everything's updated. So what exactly am I doing? Well, I'm making a cutscene, and that requires a lot of dialogue. So right now, I'm kind of writing the dialogue, all that stuff, just making the overall cutscene. It's going pretty well. Though, of course, a lot of this is very story-heavy stuff, so I don't want to spoil everything I'm doing, but I will show you a sneak peek of how the cutscene ended out. So this is still pretty unfinished, but I'd like to show you what I've actually done so far with this. So yeah, as you can see, those characters have dialogue sprites. This one doesn't, but they will actually have a dialogue sprite. I just need to commission the artist and all that. Like I said, the cutscene at this point was pretty unfinished, but it's the basic structure, and I think it works pretty well for what I was going for. So now there's a part in the game where the characters are supposed to be knocked unconscious by a magic spell. So I actually did something pretty interesting with this. So I thought, you know, just a regular cut to black knockout wouldn't actually be too interesting. So I thought to go with the theme of magic to do some cool video transition. So here I am trying to make all the video assets, putting them together, all of that stuff. Now that it's finished, in game it actually looks pretty well. It goes together well in the cutscene. Sometimes it crashes, but I haven't really figured out what the cause of that is yet, so whatever. So after the player's knocked out, you're supposed to wake up in some place in the observatory. So first things first was actually figuring out like where in the observatory, like, or do they have their own dungeon, or what do they have, like, you know, what kind of place in the observatory? Is it just like the main observatory itself? Basically a brainstorming session. So since this is the first devlog, I suppose I should, you know, explain some things. In what you just saw, the sprite editing, you might notice, you know, on the sprite sheet, there's like a bunch of like, you know, graphics on it already, all that kind of stuff. Basically, those are the RTP graphics. We don't use them. Why haven't I just cleared the sprite sheet? Basically, they're really helpful for like guidelines, you know, like where do I place this? Where do I place that? Otherwise, yeah, completely useless. Their only purpose is to be erased. Okay, so far, it doesn't really give off like a dungeon vibe, like the wood flooring, don't really like it. So that's why we're going to improve it. So in this part, I'm just going through, you know, different floor tiles, see what really works best for the dungeony vibe I'm trying to go for. It takes me a while, but I eventually set on this. So as we can see, I've kind of set around. I've made bed sprites, added, you know, a bathroom, because, you know, even dungeons have bathrooms. You might notice there's 2 Evelina sprites. Just ignore that for now. But honestly, that's all I've really kind of worked on this week. I did write a lot of the story from this point forward, but of course my mental health crisis didn't really work on the game this much. I only really worked on the game for 1 day, so I'm sorry if a lot of this seemed very dragged out. It's because I didn't have a lot to show you. Either way, guys, I hope you like this video. Leave a comment down below if you have any tips or tricks for me, or if you just have any feedback on this video. This is my first devlog. Not really gonna know how this goes, whatever. But anyways, I will see you guys next time. Thank you guys for responding so well to the pilot episode of this devlog. I really like making these videos, and I really like showing you what I'm gonna do. It would really help me if you could donate to the Patreon. There also is a Magicide Discord as well as a Kieran Pixels Discord linked in the description. Thank you all for watching.